Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the KMN 1971 coming at you with my last giant sized comic book haul for 2019. Man, how the time flies when you're geeking out. Any week is a great time for a comic book haul, in my opinion, but this week especially was a great time for a comic book haul. A lot of long running story arcs came to their fruition this week, and to some limited success, I guess. and Such as Doomsday Clock, Tom King's run on Batman, Donny Cates' run on Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course, The Rise of Skywalker, which we'll be touching on all of those things throughout the video. Don't worry, totally spoiler free. Kicking it off as I tend to do with the current books that came out this month, starting it off with my favorite new title of the year, Die, number 10. I say it month in, month out. Great writing, great art, one of the best creative teams in comics right now, one of the most original storylines in comics. So many twists and turns in here. I'd love to see this on the big or small screen, with a proper budget, of course. Fantastic stuff. Whoops, how did that happen? All right, so X-Men number 3, a laugh out loud moment occurs when the quote-unquote Golden Girls throw some shade at Emma Frost. It was great. Great dialogue and great artwork to go along with that scene. Definitely one of my favorite titles. The X-Men are back. It took a long time, but it finally happened. Guardians of the Galaxy, number 12. Everything that Donny Cates has been writing has been leading up to this issue, allegedly. Not really. This was very disappointing, in my opinion anyway. I won't get into it too much, but Donny Cates, I don't know. Unless he has like a gimmick behind him, like Cosmic Ghost Rider or a potential new character or something like God Country or Redneck, where there might be some movie buzz or some speculation, that how loyal is Donny Cates' following? There was no buzz with his Guardians of the Galaxy run or Doctor Strange run or his Inhumans run. It just seems like there's only buzz around him if he has, I don't know, a gimmick to go along with his storyline. I loved Thanos Wins. That was fantastic. God Country was fantastic. The first Venom arc was fantastic, but the rest of his stuff, I don't know. I don't know. Which I know is sacrilegious to say. Venom number 21. This will be my last issue of this title also. Alright, getting into the DC stuff. Doomsday Clock number 12. I liked it. It took way too long to get here. I don't know if it really needed 12 issues to get where it wanted to go. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank are one of my favorite creative teams, and this is another one of those cases where the event segues for other events down the road, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I did like a lot of the DC history that this brought back. So I am kind of excited, and overall, it was a good story. Batman City of Bane, number 84, and Tom King's last issue with number 85. I wasn't that big of a fan of this story arc either, to be quite honest with you. It was entertaining, but I thought he should have went out with more of a bang. I know he's going to continue his run with the Batman and Catwoman miniseries later on, sometime in 2020, which I will pick up. Overall, I did enjoy Tom King's run on Batman. One of the better runs on Batman. I really enjoyed his Swamp Thing issue, or the issue where Superman and Batman go on a double date with Lois Lane and Catwoman. A lot of stuff that I hadn't seen before. And there were a lot of great arcs and a lot of great artwork by various artists featured throughout this run. So I would say that this run was a success. I'm not sure about the whole Alfred thing and how that will pan out. My own theory is that DC is going to do some wild and radical things only to eventually have them wiped out by a crisis down the road. I hope I'm wrong. Speaking of which, Superman number 18. This is the Superman reveals his identity to the world, and this is another one of those things where I think they're just going to retcon it out eventually. But I did say I was going to drop this storyline once he revealed his ID, but now I want to kind of check it out. So I will be continuing with this title at least until issue 25. Justice League number 37 and number 38, which I actually haven't read issue number 38 yet. I usually have all my books read by the time I shoot the videos, but I lost some time yesterday when I went to go see Star Wars. Suicide Squad #1, I figured I'd just give it a shot. Suicide Squad, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. Really big fans of both of those franchises. I just wish that both companies would invest some A-list talent on both writing and art on these franchises, and I think there'd be an audience for them, or a potential bigger audience. Really looking forward to reading this. Snyder and Capullo, Last Night on Earth. Allegedly the last Snyder and Capullo jam on Batman. So, enough said, right? Wow. And also looking forward to reading this. Harleen, Book 3. This was kind of a surprise for me how much I've enjoyed this miniseries. So, that's all I have for the modern books. I'm really trying to cut down on just the essentials for modern books now and hold off for anything that might interest me for those like big bulk sales down the road from the bigger shops. Okay, so here we have Star Wars #1 from the series that just ended up wrapping up. I did not own this movie variant cover, and this is, an iconic Luke Skywalker movie cover. So I have the Conan movie covers. I have various other movie covers in my collection. It's just one of those things that I like. So I don't think this book is worth anything. I only paid like $3 or $4 for it. As far as Star Wars Rise of Skywalker goes, I thought it was entertaining. I'd give it probably a B+, I guess. One of my favorite new Star Wars movies. I definitely liked it more than all of the prequels. I think what hurt it, though, is, unfortunately, switching directors for the second installment. There is definitely a little clunkiness to go along with the narration throughout the trilogy. It doesn't run as smooth as the two previous trilogies, that's for sure. But I thought it was entertaining, and for me, someone my age, that's 48, that was there for the original trilogies, I have to come to the realization that I will never enjoy another Star Wars movie as I did the first two. And that's just the way it is. But if I can get at least some of that feeling, which I definitely did in this movie, I'm pretty happy with it. So I would recommend it. I know on Rotten Tomatoes it has like maybe 57% approval rating from the critics, but it does have like 86% approval rating from the audience. So take it for what you will. Manhunter #1, another cheap first appearance of the second Manhunter, and I cannot resist a cheap first appearance. Speaking of which, New Avengers #40, first appearance of the Skrull Queen. Wonder Woman #60, Wonder Woman vs. Lobo. I always wanted to check this issue out. Spoiler alert, they never even throw down in the comic. Disappointing. Cool cover, though. Daredevil #319. Always really liked this cover, and it was only $1.50. Same with this. Trying to snag all those Captain America spec books before the Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier show debuts on Disney+. Whew, hard for me to say. So, 334, that's the first appearance of the second Bucky, or as the second Bucky. He actually, I want to say this character actually makes his first appearance, maybe in 325? I'm not sure. 337, the first appearance of the U.S. Agent costume, at this time worn by Steve Rogers. And that hot book from a couple of weeks ago where the second Bucky takes on his new persona as Battlestar, I believe. Oof. Sounds pretty cheesy. Amazing Spider-Man 264, just another off my Amazing Spider-Man run. Master of Kung Fu #20, another Paul Galassi illustrated issue. The Defenders, I've been on like a little mini Defenders kick as of lately. Here's Defenders #42, and just a really sharp copy. Hulk versus the Rhino, guest starring Luke Cage. Well, I think Luke Cage might have been an unofficial member of the Defenders at this time. Pretty cool. Target #1. Just another one of those cheesy Atlas first appearances. I can't resist them if I can pick them up for like $3. Vision and Scarlet Witch #12 from their second miniseries, and this is the first appearance of Wiccan as a child, and I forget who her other child is named, but why not? $2 or $3. Elric #1, first time that Elric had his first ongoing miniseries. So I already have his first appearance in Conan the Barbarian, so I figured why not. I used to own this way back in the day. Spider-Girl #75. I saw this in a Vin Crew video probably about 2 or 3 months ago. And as he said, this is a weird book. It can go for $20, or you might pick it up for like, $1 to $3. But I thought that was a very cool cover. Amazing Fantasy #1, the first appearance of Arcana, I believe her name is. And I'll be shocked if she doesn't turn up in the next Spider-Verse movie. Fantastic Four #11. I want to say this is from Volume 3, and this is the first appearance of Aisha. Now, I have her quote-unquote first appearance in the Hulk Annual, and then her second first appearance in Marvel 2-in-1, and now her third appearance when she finally becomes Aisha. So. Ghost Rider #1, first appearance of the female Ghost Rider, whom I cannot remember her name. Simpsons #1, from the long-running Simpsons series. I haven't watched an episode of The Simpsons in years, but I am a big fan of the show. Huge piece of American pop culture right there. And I can't beat a Jack Kirby homage cover of Fantastic Four #1. And also at the same store, I ended up picking up Simpsons Comics and Stories #1, which is the first appearance of The Simpsons in comics. Incredibly undervalued. I think this book only goes for like $10 to $15 on a good day. I paid $5 for each of those. I ended up picking up my second copy of The Sensational She-Hulk #1, and yet again, another newsstand copy. Second copy of The Huntress #1, first appearance of the second Huntress, who will be appearing in the upcoming Birds of Prey movie in February. At least I think it's February. X Factor #15, first appearance of the Four Horsemen, I believe, or it might be a cameo appearance, I'm not sure. Marvel Tales #137, which my second copy, it reprints, of course, Amazing Fantasy #15 and The Origin of Doctor Strange, which goes nicely with this as a set. Marvel Tales #138, which, of course, reprints Amazing Spider-Man #1. DMZ #1, allegedly another one of those properties that's been optioned. I think it's rumored for HBO Max, but don't quote me on that. But I am looking forward to reading this. Very interesting. Blade #1, finally snagged a copy of that for like $3. I was not going to pay anything more than that, but can't resist having a character's first time having their own title. And also, I can't resist the last issue either. So I picked that up also on the same price. I want to say that was like $6 combined. All right, now we're getting into the issues where I had to spend a little bit more than that $1 to $5 range. Red Sonja #10 with this incredible Jenny Frison cover. Crazy. Justice League Dark #1, first appearance of the Justice League Dark. Moon Knight #60, just a minty last issue. Tough black cover, too. I also picked up from Moon Knight Volume 1, my second copy of Moon Knight #29, and #30, the two-parter where he goes against, or he fights Werewolf by Night. All right. One of my objectives this year was to pick off a lot of the odds and ends on my Conan the Barbarian list. So, one of those things on this list were a couple of the Conan OGN's original graphic novels that I've had a hard time finding for a long time. So, Conan the Ravagers of Time, which has Conan teaming up with Kull and Red Sonja, it was only okay. And the one that's really tough to find, Conan the Rogue by John Buscema and Roy Thomas. I have yet to read this yet, but this was one of allegedly John Buscema's favorite pieces of work. So definitely looking forward to checking that out. And as far as Conan keys go, I think there's like one variant cover for Conan the Cimmerian #25 by Jeff Darrow that I really want. But other than that, pretty sure that I wrapped up all of my Conan keys this year, which you'll see in my end of year video eventually. Well, in a couple of weeks. Book I was really happy to pick up before it kind of blew up. Coyote number 11, which features the first Todd McFarlane artwork. Granted, in a backup story, but still. So after buying all those Marvel Tales issues and Spawn number 300, I thought this would be really cool to have the Todd father's first published artwork. Now, this was a book that I've always been hunting down in like dollar bins and just long boxes. I could never stumble across it, so I ended up breaking down and getting one and bidding for one online and getting it for like $12. And I was kicking myself in the butt for it, and like a couple of weeks later, this book shot to what, like a $40, $50 book. I'm not sure if it's still there or not now, but nevertheless, very happy to have the Todd father's first work in the PC. This is another book that I really wish I would have picked up back when it was like a $10 book. Young Avengers number 1, first appearance of the Young Avengers. Yeah, a lot of spec potential with this book, and I figured why not pick it up. It was kind of a boring week that week. I didn't really get this at a deal. I paid fair price for it, so it is a cool book though. I will give it that. So I know some people have tried to hype it up as the potential next giant size X-Men number 1. I would definitely pump the brakes on that. But cool stuff. And now I am going to end off 2019 with a pocket full of silver. This is probably the most Silver Age comics that I've shown in any haul. But let's keep rolling. Fantastic Four, number 58. Number 59, which features the Inhumans and the Silver Surfer. Jumping ahead, number 82. Number 86. Number 89. And number 91. I was on a Fantastic Four Silver Age kick a couple of years ago, and then I kind of lost track of it. And moving on into 2020, I definitely want to concentrate on not only more Silver Age Fantastic Four, but more Silver Age in my PC in general. It's almost kind of becoming like an obsession of mine. I want at least a long box worth of Silver Age in the PC for 2020. One of my goals for next year. Detective Comics number 300 and... Ooh, what is this? 363. Could not focus for some reason. And I thought this was a fine minus copy, but unfortunately the centerfold is detached, so I had to get a bit of a discount on this one. But I ended up keeping it. This is the second overall appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. Detective Comics number 375, just a cool Batmobile cover. The Amazing Spider-Man number 67, Spider-Man versus Mysterio, and just awesome stuff. Never read this comic, obviously, but you can just see how far ahead in the game Marvel was from DC at that time. Amazing Spider-Man number 71, Spider-Man versus Quicksilver, classic, one of the very first Spider-Man stories that I'd ever read, granted in reprint form along with this one. Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 2, which features the first meeting between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. When I was a little kid, my mother bought me this Marvel paperback, basically, that had Spider-Man team-ups between either Spider-Man team-ups and Spider-Man battles with various heroes. It featured 3 stories, one with the Hulk, which I believe is, which I own now, the one with Quicksilver, which was featured in this issue, and the first meeting between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, which occurs in this issue, and illustrated by Steve Ditko. So this is actually my first Steve Ditko Spider-Man comic in my collection. Awesome. Can't believe it took me this long. But as anyone that collects Spider-Man knows, Steve Ditko's Spider-Man is not going down in price anytime soon or becoming any cheaper. I'd say this is probably like in the 5.0 range, but I am happy with it. Very, very happy with it. Awesome stuff. Flash number 175, which features the second Superman and Flash race from the Silver Age. And we will end off 2019 with another one of my favorite pickups of the year. Superman number 199, the first race between Superman and the Flash. Just about everyone that saw the Justice League movie, there's, basically 2 or 3 camps of those people. People hated it, people liked it, there was people in the middle. But pretty much everyone universally really thought that Superman Flash race scene at the end was pretty damn cool. So I own a couple of the races. I would like to track all of them down eventually. Maybe another thing for my checklist for next year. So that's all I have for this year. I will be back in a couple of weeks with my top 52 pickups for 2019. And I look forward to seeing you all next year, hopefully. I know we're on the verge of an alleged apocalypse, but I think we'll all be okay, honestly, especially for those of us that are not monetized. I really believe that comic books will fall under the general audience umbrella. Unless CBR gets taken down or IGN. I mean, how would DC Comics or Marvel Entertainment get to advertise their comics on YouTube? I mean, are they going to mark those videos marked for children so they can't be shared or can't be shown? I doubt it. So I intend to keep on shooting videos about comics, about hauls, showcasing stuff in my collection until I'm told that I cannot. I ended up marking all my videos in the YouTube studio as not for children. So, so we'll see how it goes. So until next week or the week after, have everyone out there have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holiday season, and take care. Thank you all for watching, liking, and subscribing. I'll see you later.